price prediction for 2025. How is $7 really possible? The most extreme Depin opportunity until 2030. What if I told you that an altcoin like Peaq could rise from its current price of just 0.006 to over $7? Many investors are currently searching for the next crypto 10x, but are missing out on coins that are outside the top 10. In this video, I'll show you why Peaq could be the most exciting altcoin opportunity in the Depin and RWA market until 2030. Be sure to stay until the end, because that's when you'll learn about realistic price scenarios that no one currently has on their radar. Welcome to 10x by Marius, your channel for honest data-driven altcoin analyses. Did you know that an altcoin like Peaq is currently at just 0.06 but could rise to $7 by 2030? Many people only chase the hype coins in the top 20, but in doing so, they might miss out on projects with real, practical use cases. Today we're going to take a look at Peaq Together, a coin that could play a key role in both the Depin sector and the RWA market. So what exactly makes Peaq so special and why is it so exciting? Peaq is essentially a layer 1 blockchain built for the machines of the economy. This means that billions of devices, robots and vehicles could communicate directly with each other and exchange payments and data. What's unique? Peaq supports over 50 Depins across more than 20 industries, ranging from mobility and energy to agriculture. Simply put, Peaq brings crypto into real life. Technically, Peaq is based on Substrate, the same foundation as Polkadot, for example. It runs on proof of stake, which means it's extremely energy efficient and a transaction costs very little. Scalability up to 10,000 transactions per second. However, the roadmap aims for 100,000 transactions per second. In addition, there are smart features like machine ID, digital identities for devices, Peaq Pay, and machines making payments independently. Peaq Verify, meaning secure data for companies and users. In short, it's not just a chain, it's a complete infrastructure for machines. And now comes the big part. According to the World Economic Forum, the Depin market is estimated to reach over $3.5 trillion by 2030. And this is where Peaq positions itself as one of the leading players. My analysis rates Peaq at 80.4%. Why that's incredibly strong for a coin like this, and why it puts them so high up on my 10x ranking list, let's get into that now. But before we dive into the analysis together, grab yourself a coffee, leave a like for me, and if you want to support me, become a 10x supporter. All the information can be found in the video description. Just click on join. But a quick disclaimer, my channel is not financial advice, it's purely for informational purposes. Let's move on to market capitalization. Peaq currently has a market cap of $76 million. That's in the low cap range. Imagine buying a coin today that's still in its infancy but is playing in a market with trillion-dollar potential. That's exactly what Peaq is. For comparison, Helium or IoTex had similar caps before they skyrocketed. Here, a strong 9, because they have massive potential. Next, circulating supply. Currently, 25.8% of the tokens are in circulation. That means a lot of tokens will still enter the market, which is a risk. You definitely need to keep that in mind. But it's also like with many startups. The founders still have a lot of shares in the drawer that can be sold at some point. That's not perfect, but it's also not a deal breaker. And by the way, if you want to know where you can actually get Peaq and if you want to trade other exciting altcoins, check out my pinned comment, my favorite crypto exchange. If you sign up, you'll also get a bonus, which is definitely an advantage for you. In this area, I'd give a solid 6 because there are still far too few tokens actually on the market. Roadmap. Peaq provides an extremely detailed roadmap from machine DeFi to Python, SDKs, and even up to 100,000 TPS in the future. But a lot of projects just talk. Peaq has delivered, for example, with over 50 Depin integrations. That shows there's real substance behind this. A strong 8. Next, who is the team? Founders, Max Take and Till Wendler. Plus advisors from Polkadot and Bosch. This is like a dream team. Why? Technology, business, real partnerships in the real world. Extremely strong. 8. Next, narrative. Peaq is fully focused on the Depin sector and RWA, two of the hottest crypto narratives for the coming years. Narratives drive the markets. In 2021, it was DeFi. In 2023, it was AI. In 2025, it could be Depin. A strong 9 here. Next, what problem are they actually solving? Key question, does Peaq solve a real problem? Answer, yes. Why? Today, infrastructures like power grids and vehicles are often centralized. Peaq makes them decentralized and therefore more efficient and cost-effective. That's a massive advantage. That's why it's also a strong 9 here. Next, what about sustainability? How energy efficient are they? Proof of stake. Transaction costs are extremely low, extremely efficient. It's like the Tesla of blockchains. Fast, affordable, clean. That's why it's also a strong 9 here. Next, what about the investors? How much capital is there? Peaq has received $24 million in funding from Moonrock Capital, as well as Fundamental Labs and others. That's already really impressive. Strong VCs, of course, also mean trust. They're willing to put their money on the line and invest. Solid 8. Next, who are the competitors? Competitors Helium, IoTeX, Filecoin. But Peaq covers 20 industries, even more. It's like the difference between a specialist and a generalist who covers everything. By the way, if you're interested in more altcoin analyses from me, check out the 10x universe. I've linked the information in the video description. There are plenty of exciting altcoins there, and next weekend, let me just say this. I have 2 altcoins from the low cap sector that almost no one has on their radar yet. If you don't want to miss them, subscribe to the channel now, activate the bell, and then let's go. Definitely keep a close eye on this area. Next, marketing. Over 300,000 followers on X, events like Korea Blockchain Week. Extremely strong. Peaq is present. Peaq is visible. That naturally builds trust. They're strongly positioned here. So then how easy are they to understand? The idea is simple. Machines pay by themselves. Machines are connected to each other and can exchange data. I think that's straightforward. But now the question for you. Did I explain Peaq simply to you at the beginning? Did you understand Peaq right away? Write it in the comments. Here, a strong 8. Next, what is Peaq's long-term vision actually? Peaq sees itself as the global backbone for machines and the machine economy, governance, stablecoins, and money markets. All in all, extremely important. And that's not just a plan for 2025, but a vision for 2030 and beyond. A strong 9. Next, are they finally deflationary? What's the situation there? Peaq is disinflationary. It starts at 3.5% inflation, decreasing to 1%. There is no hard max supply here. Of course, that could put pressure on the price in the long term. That's why it's only a 4 here. You have to be careful with that. Next, fully diluted market cap. The FDV is around $300 million. That's only about 3.8 times the market cap, so it's still in the green zone. 9. Next, how liquid are they actually? Volume is $5.28 million. That's a ratio of 0.0687. This ratio shows that it's very healthy. That's why it's a strong 9 in this area as well. Next, how was the token distribution? In the end, it was distributed fairly. Community, foundations, ecosystem, the lockup period, 36 months. A solid 8. Then, what are the token holders like? Are there any holders who hold an extremely large number of tokens, and that is unfair and of course no longer decentralized? The foundation holds 20%, investors up to 13%. It's not perfect, but it's okay in the solid range. 7. Then, what is the utility of the Peaq token? Tokens for gas, for staking, for participation rights. So Peaq is more than just a coin, it's an ecosystem token. Strong 9. Then, how strong is the Peaq community? How strong is their presence in the social media space? With over 300,000 followers and more than 675,000 users worldwide, they have a strong presence here. By the way, do you already know Peaq? Are you a holder of Peaq? Are you a fan of Peaq? Write it in the comments, #Peaq, and support the community. In this area, definitely a strong 8. Then extremely important, what events are coming up this year and next year? Peaq will be at Korea Blockchain Week at the Berlin meetup and has new Depin integrations. These are events that attract attention. Extremely important, extremely strong. Here, 8. Honestly, coins like Peaq are exactly the reason why data-driven analysis is worthwhile. Many people overlook projects like this because they only look at the top 20. But this is exactly where most of the opportunities are, of course, outside the top 20 or even outside the top 100. In my Zenix ranking list, Peaq reaches 80.4%. That means this is a really strong result. They're ranked quite high, even though they do have certain disadvantages, but the other strong metrics make up for that. Here are the most important reasons. They're undervalued. With a market cap of 76 million, they're still clearly in the low cap range, so they have massive potential for growth. They have a strong roadmap, a solid tokenomics with a clear focus, a genuine tech focus, and above all, a strong team. Over 50 Depin integrations in more than 20 industries, from energy to mobility. And the good thing, hardly any competition. Peaq is broadly positioned, even broader than Helium or IOTX. And the narrative, real-world assets, machine economy, both absolute megatrends. Compared to others, Peaq positions itself well above the average of many other low-cap altcoins on my Zenix ranking list. My assessment, Peaq is one of the most exciting altcoins for 2025. There are indeed risks such as with supply and adoption, but the risk-reward profile here is exceptionally attractive. So if you're looking for a coin that doesn't just rely on hype, but actually offers real use cases, you should definitely have Peaq on your watch list. And if you want to dive even deeper and see the complete Zenix ranking list so you can prepare well for the altcoin season and take a close look at which altcoins are strong, which ones are well rated, then take a look at the Zenix Elite. There you'll get access to the full Zenix ranking list as well as many other benefits. It's best to check out the tutorial there and let yourself be convinced. You'll get all the information you need there. Honestly, price predictions are always tricky, but of course that's exactly what fascinates investors. Because in the end, we all want to know, what opportunities does Peaq offer as an investment? It could remain small, but it could also become the next big thing in the crypto market, especially in the Depin sector and the RWA market. That's why we'll look at various price scenarios that have been calculated mathematically so you can get an idea of where things might be headed. Let's start with the worst case, the bear scenario. Here, adoption stalls. Peaq is somewhere between $0.02 and $0.05. Here, it's more about survival than the normal scenario. Moderate growth, more Depin integration, healthy adoption. In that case, prices between $0.07 and $0.15 would be possible. That's already a significant increase. Now let's move on to the optimistic scenario. If the entire crypto market heads towards $10 trillion, Peaq establishes itself as one of the most relevant Depin altcoins, then prices between $0 and $0.5 are possible. Here, that would already be a really strong investment. But now let's move on to the very optimistic scenario. Imagine Peaq becomes the standard protocol for machines and the machine economy. Robots, cars, devices, everything runs on Peaq. Then it could see prices from $0.9 to $1, and that's when it really gets interesting, especially for long-term investors. Now let's move on to the vision for 2030. This is the big vision now. According to the World Economic Forum, the Depin sector is expected to grow to $3.5 trillion, and Peaq could manage to capture a huge market share. If that happens, then we're no longer talking about cents. We're talking about $3 to $7 per coin in 2030. That would be an extreme 100x scenario, even if it sounds extreme, but that's exactly what makes this coin so exciting. Because anything could happen in the future if the market grows massively, especially due to the low market cap. But now, let's take a look at the current situation on the chart. What am I doing? Would I buy it? Would I sell it? Would I just hold it? Or would I simply watch and observe? All of that now in the chart analysis. Alright, as always, let's take a look at the chart analysis now. As I always say, just a quick note, I'm not a trader. I invest for the long term and I also think long term. Let's take a look at the chart together. What I always pay attention to is whether it's in the overbought area up here or in the oversold area. I use TradingView and a specific indicator that shows certain dots for green. Here, green marks good entry points and red marks are more like exit points. As you can see here, Peaq had a massive peak here and then dropped sharply. But that's normal for low cap altcoins. Usually what happens is there's a listing on an exchange, then it shoots up massively and then it drops again. So for now we've just entered the lower range again. But what you can also see now, if you look at the entry point, at the moment we're more in the middle range. That means we're not in the overbought zone, but we're also not in the oversold zone. So ultimately, for me, that means I would rather wait until we get back into areas where we're, for example, in the oversold zone, and then I would enter. Here, you definitely still need to pay attention because most slow caps really only shoot up in price during the altcoin season, so to speak, and they always have a rather small time window. unless you really say that you're using this as an investment for the next 5 to 10 years or until 2030, and you're speculating that by 2030 the use case will have become widespread in everyday life and will be used extensively. But as things stand right now, I would definitely rather wait here and see if there's another dip and then enter the entry zone, because at the moment, no green dot has formed here either. As I said, it's more of a neutral zone. And if you also want to know my future entry points, as well as the current state of the crypto market, check out my CNX Elite membership. I really do weekly updates there, but also whenever the market pumps hard or drops sharply, I explain what's happening in the market with a data-driven post. And I also show points when I enter, when I exit, or when I take partial profits. So if you're interested in that, check out the CNX Elite. Take a look at the tutorial. I explain everything about it there as well. That was the price forecast for Peaq. And if you're now interested in diving deeper into another altcoin that's also super exciting, why is it so exciting? It's best if you check out the analysis yourself. Here's the video. I'll see you in a moment. Have fun and see you soon.